The world is changing dramatically as Doma Boko, the newly elected president of Botswana, takes an unusual stand against capitalism and socialism and joins AES leaders in reinventing governance from an African perspective. Boko's rejection of Western capitalism and socialism reflects their bold revolutionary ambition for African nations to govern themselves according to their own principles, free of ideologies that have historically favored foreign interests. Boko's call for an African democracy, which might transform governance across the continent, promotes a paradigm based on community well-being, autonomy, and adaptation. However, what changes can he make? Let's look into it. How did capitalism not work in Africa? And why does Boko believe it is incompatible with Africa's future? The history of exploitation on the continent, particularly in resource-rich nations like Botswana, is the primary subject of Doma Boko's critique of capitalism. He is the new hope for Africa. Feeling a little uneasy, he approaches and agrees in a humble way. He argues that foreign profits have consistently trumped the welfare of African populations, even in the face of capitalism's promise of economic growth. Under capitalism, Botswana's valuable natural resources have primarily benefited Western corporations at the expense of the local population. Boko claims that capitalism's effects on Africa are a modern-day continuation of colonialism. Foreign interests make money by stealing riches while African nations get nothing. Although diamonds and other natural resources have supposedly been the main drivers of Botswana's economy, this has not translated into widespread prosperity. Boko observes that while foreign companies profit, local residents receive minimal reinvestment. Roads, healthcare, education, infrastructure are usually neglected in resource-rich areas, and the revenues are typically transferred outside, with 20% paid by them and 80% by the government. Why is cost borne by government? Or, since they are special, are they the only ones that require medical care? According to Boko, this economic inequality perpetuates inequity and impedes national development, undermining the core purpose of resource ownership. According to him, capitalism has turned Africa into a continent of consumers rather than business owners, depending on external economies for jobs, capital, and commodities. In addition to its tendency to extract wealth, Boko critiques capitalism for its tendency to deepen social divisions. By favoring the wealthy, capitalism feeds a vicious cycle of money and power concentration, leaving ordinary people fighting to make ends meet. This suggests that while the rest of the population only benefits somewhat from Botswana's economic advancements, a small number of elites or foreign investors profit tremendously from them. Boko claims that this system is intentionally designed to fail to meet the needs of the average African. He questions how a culture that thrives on injustice and exploitation can be used as a template for African development. Beyond economic inequality, Boko views capitalism as a system that undermines community well-being and long-term stability. According to Boko, the system prioritizes immediate gains over long-term advancement, which is particularly harmful to Africa's future. Multinational corporations that prioritize profits usually prioritize short-term advantages over environmental preservation and social responsibility. In Botswana, this means that communities are left to bear the costs of resource depletion, environmental degradation, and unsustainable activity. Boko claims that rather than bringing about progress, capitalism has harmed Africa's social structure and environment. But if capitalism isn't the best solution, might socialism offer Botswana and other African nations a more practical and egalitarian alternative?